Hi guys, so the question that I was given was why have Kentuckians and West Virginians received the reputation for being dumb and incompetent? So I first started off just by asking some of my friends on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, just kind of on my social media platforms, seeing what some of my friends and relatives had to say on the matter, and I got a couple different answers. One person said they might be really rural states. I know how people like to profile the rural hick types, and that was from my friend from Georgia. He also said he asked some of his coworkers, and they said that the consensus is that they're rural and West Virginia and poor. West Virginia is poor and has a low literacy rate. Another friend said, "I don't know. I figure lower class, so people think that means illiteracy." I also asked a friend, and he said that he had never heard of like that stereotype before. So I don't know if it's an opinion left over from the Civil War. So they were saying that maybe Ohio, since it was right on the border, that maybe that's an opinion that Ohio has on them, just to kind of radicalize the view of people in Kentucky and Virginia to keep them separate, and maybe it just got passed down through generations. They said it's also a lot of rural land, so I'm not sure. There's probably a lot of hunting and farming, which people for some reason consider to be for less educated people. Another person just commented and said redneckism. My aunt actually commented and said, "My father was from West Virginia, and I think it's partially due to the generational poverty. When he grew up, most boys did not go to school past 5th or 6th grade because the family needed them to work on the farm or earn some money. Also, due to the isolation of the region, they have a very distinct dialect and colloquialisms that many would take as ignorant. My dad only went to the 6th grade, but he loved to read, so never appeared uneducated." And the last comment that I got was alcohol and incest, I presume. So a lot of people just kind of assumed that they were illiterate. And so I kind of wanted to look into that and see how true that was and see where Kentucky and Virginia schools rated compared to other states. So I actually went to bestschools.com and looked at the different ratings of all the different states. Ohio actually came in at number 6, Virginia came in at number 11, and Kentucky came in at number 17 in order from best to worst. So Ohio had 866 eligible high schools. 2.2%, which was 19 schools, were gold medal schools, and 16.5%, which was 153 schools, were silver medal schools. In Virginia, they only had 320 eligible high schools. 4.7% were gold medal schools, though, which was 15, and 12.2%, or 39 schools, were silver medal schools. And in Kentucky, they had even less, with 270 schools. 1.5% were gold medal schools, which is only 4 schools in the entire state, and 13%, which is only 35 schools, were silver medal schools. So I also wanted to see if maybe there was a difference in the number of schools, kind of like per square mile, in these states compared to Ohio. So Ohio is 44,825 square miles, which is the biggest state. Then next is Virginia with 42,775 square miles, and Kentucky has 40,409 square miles. So I just kind of divided the amount of schools. You could find the amount of schools on each state's Department of Education website. So Ohio has 3,505 schools. Virginia only has 1,855, and Kentucky has 1,233. So Ohio had 3,500 schools, Virginia had about 1,800, and Kentucky had about 1,200. So Kentucky had literally less than half of the amount of schools that we did, but they were only 4,000 square miles smaller. So I actually did the math and tried to find out how many schools per square mile they had. So in Ohio, there's 1 school for every 12.78 square miles. In Virginia, there's 1 school for every 23.06 miles. And in Kentucky, there's 1 school for every 32.72 square miles. So my consensus at the end was just maybe the fact that there are more schools, like, per square mile in some of the other states compared to Virginia and Kentucky, but based off of the ratings of the schools, they really didn't fall that far, considering there's 50 states and Virginia was 11 and Kentucky was 17. But another friend actually mentioned that in Virginia, well, she said in Virginia there's a lot of inbreeding. I'm not really sure about that, and that's not really something that you can find a lot of information on. But she mentioned that in Kentucky is known for the sale and production of alcohol. And producing alcohol is a skill, but it's not something that you need a formal education for. So she hypothesized that maybe since that's what they do best, and that's kind of what their area is known for, that they don't need to seek higher education. And I also agree with my aunt who said that it is kind of a secluded area. There's not as many people there. She said it's due to the isolation of the region. They have a very distinct dialect and colloquialism, which I think is definitely true. When you hear somebody that talks a little bit different than you or uses different colloquial terms, then you kind of look down on them and say, oh, why do they use those types of words? So I just kind of did an interview and asked some of my friends and did a little bit of research on the schools. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.